back. In this session, you will learn how to use Python to communicate with REST APIs. Okay. Now, in Python, the most common module for making API calls is the requests module. All right. Let's go ahead and see how we can make these API calls. Okay. For that, we need to import a module called requests. Okay, so just check if you're getting any request module error, then you will have to go ahead and install it using pip. So what you do is just give pip install requests. Okay, and this will install the request module in your computer. Right, once that is done, then you can go ahead and create a file and then import this module. So once we import the module, we need to mention what API we need to access. Let's go ahead and look for some free APIs. So one of the most um, common APIs that is used by developers for learning purposes, JSON placeholder. So you go to that particular excuse me page, and this is it sample API URL where they have given some sample user information, to do's, album, comments, and posts, things like that. So any of these links you can use to test API calls. So I'm going ahead and using this users link. So we have this JSON placeholder here slash users. So this is what I'm going to use. So this is what the API looks like. Okay, the API will be in this kind of format. It will be like a dictionary and a set of list where we will have all these key value pairs. So in this example, in this users API, they have given about 10 IDs. See here, given about 10 IDs. See ID number 10. So all this information they have given so that developers can just use it and work on learning the API module. All right. Let's do one thing. I want these APIs or this information to to come into my program and display. So let me get this URL and paste here. This is the URL that I want to call. This is API URL. I want to call and then display the content into my computer. Okay, so next we need to call the request get method. Okay, so I'm giving request dot get. I've mentioned the URL that I want to get, and then I also want to convert this into JSON format. JSON is JavaScript object notation, which will be coming in a proper this kind of format that we have seen just now. In this kind of format, it will convert and display into our program. So once I have converted, now we have this res variable. Excuse me. So in this variable, we'll have all this, all the information of that particular API stored. Next is I want to display that, right? So for I can run a loop. Let's say for I can say for data in res, just give print data. That's it. So once I give a print data, it is going to loop through all the records in this res variable and it will display the result below. See, all the information I am getting it in the terminal. So that same information that we have seen in this API, this particular program has pulled that information and displayed here. So it has lot of variables, right? Lot of keys like name, username, email. Now, if instead of displaying everything, if I want to pull only the names from this API, names will like ID number one, name is this one, Leon Graham. ID number two, we have Erwin. Only names should be displayed. So what we do instead of printing data, I can just access that column. I can give data square bracket. I can give name. Now what will happen? Only the name fields are getting displayed. You see, the name fields of all the records are getting displayed. And if I want email ID also, I can just give here comma and then give data of email as well. Now I'm going to get name and email both. So this is how you can access an API, right? And so let's see another example. Now I want to access, let's say I want to display the weather of a particular place, okay, using our program. Okay, so let's explore a website called Open Weather Map. So search in Google Open Weather Map, and you would see this particular link, right? Openweathermap.org. We need to go to that particular website and then go to API menu on the top. Once you go there, then scroll down, you will see something like current weather data, right? So this API we are going to use to access the current weather data. So what you need to do is there it's not open. I mean, you need to create a login ID and all that. So what you need to do is you have to click on this subscribe button, and then once you click on subscribe button, you would see this information, right, about the pricing and all. So since using it for learning purpose, we can go ahead and go ahead with the free one. So here under this free, you will have a tab called Get API Key, right? Click on this Get API Key, and then it will ask you to create some username and all that. So let's I'm giving here as test user 1 2 3 5, and I'm giving here some email ID. Excuse me. You don't have to give your original personal email ID or anything. Just give dummy one. This is for testing purpose only. That's why. Let's click on these check boxes. All right, and then go down and just make it this. I am not a robot. It's asking for a bridge. This is a bridge. This is a bridge. This is a bridge. This is a bridge. Verify. Okay, once you do that, then click on create account. So, excuse me. So now this will create an account for you, some test account it has created. Okay, and then click on this API keys link. Once you click on API key link, you will get a key here. You see on the left side, there is a key. So you would need this key to access the weather data. All right. And so let's go ahead and access this. So for that, what you need, you still need your request module. Delete all these things. And let's go ahead and create it using, we are going to use a module for city. So let's create a variable. Let's say I'm giving city equals, okay, and then comma UK. So to give a city and country as it is, there should not be any space or anything. Then I have to give an API key. This API key that we have just created, it will take this API will take about 45 to 1 hour to get activated. So as soon as I created, if I go ahead and use this, it will not work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of my old API key. I'm giving here an API key. Is- I have to give the URL, okay, from where I have to access. Now, if you go here, if you need that URL, you need to go to that document, right? View details, and okay, let's go ahead and let's go to this API link one more time. There should be a document there which will show all the. So here called API doc. So when you click on API menu or API link on the top, if you scroll down in this current weather data, which is what we just created the token or API key, here click on API doc. So if you click on API doc, it will show various way to make these API calls. Okay. For example, first they have given a method like to open the weather by giving a latitude and longitude number and API key. So for that particular place, it is going to give the API key. So any of these links you can use. I have used the city and country link. Okay. Let me search that. So I have used the API request by city name. Okay. Here. So if I click search for this city, you will get on the right side. Now I'm getting a URL. See API call I can make by passing a city name and API. All right. The second one is city name and then comma country code. That also we can use. So let's use city. So we are going to copy this particular code from here, this particular API link. Okay. Copy this API link and then paste into our um, code. That is going to be our URL. Okay. And I can make this an F string so that I can put the variable. So city is London and this, right? So I can give here city curly braces and here I can give API or I can give API key, this variable which I created earlier. This URL, which is a API URL, if you call that, we should be getting the information into our computer. All right, URL I have given. Now, next step is same that we've seen earlier. I'm going to call it. So the method to call that API is get request.get. Then I give URL, convert this into JSON. Right? JSON conversion means it will come in this particular format which you see below. And then once you do that, now we have to capture. Okay, the if I simply give print res, okay, it is going to make that API call and see below it has printed all the information about the play. I mean that about this London, UK, about the weather, pressure, speed, everything is there. But now I'm interested only for the weather. So if you spend some time, you will get to know how this API has been arranged. And so since I have already seen it, I know that the field where we get the temperature is the temp. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to get this, instead of printing everything, I will pull the field which is called main. Okay, now in that main field, if I print, everything is getting printed, right? Temp, feels like, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, pressure, everything. So instead of everything, I only want temperature, right? Not minimum, maximum at all. For that, again, I give one more square bracket and access temperature temp. So now it will show the temperature in London, UK is 295.39, and this will be in a Kelvin Kelvin measurement. So we don't want in Kelvin, we want in Celsius, suppose. So for that, what we need to do is we need to um, change it to Celsius. For that, there is a what we can do. There is a way to do it. Let's create another variable temp, temp underscore. Let's say C equals, and let's say instead of printing, I'm going to store this in a variable TMP. Okay. Now the temperature is there in TMP variable. Now next step is to convert into Celsius. For that, you have to give a round function. We need to round, uh, give TMP minus, you have to give 273.5. So 2.15, okay, 273.15. So if we subtract 273.15 from TMP, we should get that in Celsius. Okay. So now if I print TMP underscore C, show the current temperature in London, which is 22 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now we can also print it in a nice way. We can give a f string here, give an f string, and just type that current temperature, the temperature in whatever city we selected. In certain city is TMP underscore C. So it is going to print it in this order. Okay, so now I have captured the TMP and city bow. So it will print in a clean way that see the current temperature in London, UK is 22, and I can also give that degree Celsius in this. Okay, I can simply give this something like this. So now it is going to print. Okay, now you see. So current temperature in London, UK is 22 degrees Celsius, right? The same thing if I want for India. Let's say I want this for uh, Delhi, India. So I give Delhi, comma India. So IND if I give current temperature in Delhi, India is 30 degrees Celsius. So this is how we can access a public API by using some kind of API key and display the relevant content. All right. So we have seen how to access API so far. First, we have used the JSON placeholder link, which was pretty much open. No API was needed. Then we have tried this Open Weather Map API, which needed an API key, so which we created. Okay. And next, so far we have only seen how to access these APIs, right? There's no way we can update as of now because these public APIs do not give any access to the end user to make any update or delete request into the API. But in real client server architecture, the front-end developer's role is to use these APIs and perform all the database operations such as add, delete, update, and modify. So for that, what we will do is we will create a fake API uh, into our local computer. Okay, so there is a way to do that. We have that option to create a fake API, which we will use it. So for that, what we will do, we have to install a few things. Okay, to begin with, First we need to install Node.js, right? So let's start with this. Let me delete this. First step is to Node.js is a platform that we use it to create applications, right? To create a backend application. So Node.js is providing us a feature to do that. So you can go to this CMD and check if Node is already installed or not. You can type Node, two hyphens and versions. If Node is already there in your computer, it is going to show you some version 16 point or 18 or 20 or something like that. Okay. If it is not installed, then you need to go to the Node, excuse me, node.org, okay, nodejs.org. Go to nodejs.org and then click on this first one, this 18.16 or 20, whatever it is showing you. Click on this first button, which will download the Node.js file into your download folder. There you can just double click and install it. So once you install that Node.js and again come back to this prompt and type node dash dash version, you should be getting a version here. Okay, that means Node is being successfully installed. Right. Next, what you need to do is you need to install. So you can even open a command prompt for that. Right. Simply just open a command prompt. So how to check if Node is installed? I'm just giving Node dash dash version, and I see it. That means Node is installed. Next is we need to install the JSON server, which will help us to create fake API. Okay. So for that, the command is npm install dash g space JSON dash server. Okay. If you give this command and press enter, it will install it. Okay, JSON server will be installed in your computer. Since it is already there in my computer, I'm not going to press enter, but you need to if you do not have JSON. All right. So now once you do that, JSON server will be installed. Then what you do, you create a folder. Okay. So let's say I'm going to create a folder here by giving md command, making directory md, and let's see my API server. Okay, so I create this folder, my API server. Okay, so you would be seeing this here. Let me go to my users, and here my API server, one folder I have created, which is blank now. Okay, so now in this place, you need to create a file. Okay, named, let's say, db.json. So I give file new, open your text document, notepad, and give your file name as db.json. Don't give txt, db.json. This file got created in this folder, API server folder, db.json got created. Now go there, open that file. You can open that file in whatever form, let's say text document. Sorry, you need to open it. Open with, and let's say Visual Studio Code. So I'm opening it to Visual Studio Code. So that will open here. Okay. Now here you need to paste, you need to create a fake information. Let's say I'm going to give a detail about employees. I'm going to create an employee API. So this code which I'm giving need to paste. So it will look something like this. Okay, so we have here employee um, API, and then I have two IDs here, right? one information of ID number one, and then I have uh, ID is one, name is John, email is so and so. So this I have created. So it is a dummy API which has only one record. All right. So now, if you see this particular folder, it has only one file db.json, and that looks like this. It should be the same format. So when you try it out, give it the same format, and exit. There should not be anything missing out here. So once you do this, now open this folder in CMD where you have JSON. So what you do, click on this path, go to the beginning and type CMD space. So now this path will be opening into command prompt. See, command prompt I have got this particular path, my API server. Now in this path you need to open uh, the API or the JSON server. All right. So for that, the command to open JSON server is just give JSON dash server space dash dash watch db dot JSON. It will watch this particular file and then give a port name. So I'm giving a port as 300 3001. Now that fake API server will open. Okay. So for that we need this command JSON server, and it is going to watch the db.json which we just now created, which has one row for employee and port number is 3001. If I press enter, see here this API got created localhost 3001 employees. Okay. Now if I just open this, hold on the control key and click, or you can copy paste the whole URL and open in the browser. See, in the browser you can see an API kind of thing, right? So this is exactly similar to this JSON placeholder which we have seen earlier. So now we have our own local API which is running in our computer. Okay, and the URL is this. So let's go ahead and access our own API, and we know the URL and everything, right? So what we do, um, how to access an API? We have that done already, right? So what we do, we give import requests, and then I'm going to give a URL. Excuse me. The URL is going to be our own URL, which is this localhost employees. Copy that and paste here. This is a URL I want to access. Now how to access? Give request dot get URL, right? And then if I go ahead and print res, it should print whatever we have in our API. See, it is printing. Okay, so we need to convert this into JSON, right? JSON format, and now just print res. See, it is printing now. Name, John, email, so and so. So we are able to successfully access this API. All right. So which we have already done earlier, but what we want to try is we want to post something. Okay. I want to post something into this API. That means I want to, add a new record. That means now only one employee information is there. I want to add a new employee. So what we do is uh, we call for that. For that we call the post method. Okay, so I give requests dot post, and I give the URL. In this URL I want to post, and what I want to post, give in a curly brackets that details. I want to post the name field, and let's say the name is city name Kathy, email I'm giving mail.com. I want to pass these two information into that particular uh, API. So now, right now, just double check. Only one row is there. I'm refreshing it. Only one row is there. Now I'm going to run this program. So the moment to run this program, and then go come here and then refresh it, you see a new record has been added. Okay, so this is how we post a new row or a new record in an API, and the function is post. The method is post, and if you observe it, this ID field will automatically appear. We don't have to give this ID; only pass the other parameters, and this ID field automatically will appear. Remember, when you create the first time, this ID should be in lowercase, otherwise it won't work. All right, so this is about the post request. Now let's see how to make any modification. So instead of post, if you put request dot put, and then in the top, if I give slash and that particular ID name. For example, I want to modify this second ID with some different email. Now it is testmail.com. I want to change it to gmail.com. Some modification I want to make. So for that, in the URL, just give a slash and that ID name too. Okay, so this particular ID 2 will be modified with whatever I am going to enter. So now instead of giving test mail, I want to give Gmail, and then run this program. It is going to update that. So now see, it was test mail earlier. If I refresh the page, it has become Gmail now. So this is how you update a particular row, by using put method. Okay, similarly, if you want to delete it, just give delete, and then in this parenthesis just give the URL. What is the URL is this: localhost 3001 employees slash 2. So the ID number 2 will be deleted. Got it? Request or delete. If I give, run it, and see here, earlier the second ID was there, but now if I refresh it, it is gone. So this is how a front-end developer performs add, delete, modify, and display of API into the front-end page. All right. And the module that we use is request module, and the method we use is post, put, get, and delete. All right. So that's pretty much about API requests, how to make API requests, and how to perform these changes. And so please try it out. This option, please follow these options, these methods into a computer based on what I've explained you, and let me know in case you have any questions tomorrow. All right. Thank you.